Welcome back to the channel where the art is always random and so am I. Today's another sketchbook episode, and once again I'm going to show off this drawing of Logic before I even get started. Since some people like to always criticize my work, "Oh, that doesn't even look realistic. It's not good at all. Oh, you can't draw. Get better." I'm like, bro, this is just my style. I choose to draw this way because realism gets boring, but some of you already know that. And anyways, in a few days I'm going to start a professional full drawing of Logic to say goodbye to his career, sort of like the previous episode of Tentacion. That video is really good. I suggest you check it out. And I'm gonna do something similar like that with Logic, where I put some motivational quotes and some of the things he said for some of the songs, and it will just hopefully come out dope. And now the quick album review, sort of unorganized and like always. Here we go. First of all, the art cover is amazing. Sam Spratt is phenomenal. Like always, he always hits it out of the park and he always delivers. This is Logic's only album cover artist and the only man who should be allowed to do so. And the abstract is based off the cover. Not the first time I drew a Sam Spratt cover, but normally I make them look realistic with just a really cool background. But this time I just went straight through it and made it abstract. Once again, Sam Spratt always delivers, hits it out the park, 100, A1, whatever you want to call it. The man is amazing. So I gave it a few quick listens before I even thought of reviewing the album. The album was great. This is old Logic and new Logic coming together. Sort of like the really scrawny kid meeting his older self and being like, okay, let's make an album together. It's just crazy seeing how far he's come. I've been a fan now for over 6 years, and every time I'm in need of inspiration, I play Under Pressure, his old mixtapes. Mostly Welcome to Forever, because that was my first time listening to him, so it's sort of like I just lean towards that mixtape more. So yeah. This album is a throwback basically and reminiscent of the times and how far he's come. It reminds me a lot of Under Pressure, so that's good because that's my favorite album of all time next to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Yeezy. And right off the bat, the album starts off with the opening song. It's with young Sinatra interview voiceovers like he used to back in the day, where he just took random clips of random people's interviews and put them in the song, and I thought it was really cool at the time. And also the computer Talia from Under Pressure and Tits, aka The Incredible True Story, is back. It's usually the narrator for the albums if you don't remember, where he's like, oh, Talia, change this, Talia, change that. I think it's the same voice, I'm not really sure, I gotta look into it, but yeah. He just starts spitting and it reminds me of how he's top 5 of my personal artists of all time, but that's just me. I'm not going to bother doing a full song analysis for each individual song, but overall it's everything I want from a Logic album from a Logic fan. One of the songs is a throwback to the song Addiction, I think it's called, mixing with one beat from J. Cole used on Too Deep for the intro. I don't know, it's basically a nostalgia album about him reminiscing on how he's made it in life and how hard it was for him to get here. One of the songs he's talking about how people always try telling him what to do, but the decisions put him in a mansion and people want to live through him. He's not saying it in a cocky way, most of it just facts, like, okay, I made it here on my own, I don't need anybody else telling me what to do, which is what a lot of people like to tell people what to do. Like, let's say you have a rich friend, right? Some people might be telling him, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this. First of all, he made it there because of his decisions, not yours. If you wanted to make it, why don't you do what you were telling him to do, if that makes sense. Soul Food 2 is a follow-up to the first album, and the switch is amazing. I just like the original song a lot, so when I saw this on the playlist, I was hyped. It's like the original mixed up a lot though, and I really enjoy it overall. The only thing I didn't like was the random skit in the middle. I think this should have been its own song. You'll know what I'm talking about when you listen to it, because this song is really, really good, but then that kind of messes it up when it could have just been 2 separate songs. I don't know, that's just because I like Soul Food that much, but it's my opinion. You let me know what you think. Dark Place is also a great song because he's just being really deep and telling us what he's been going through mentally, physically, and all that, because burning yourself out sucks. I personally go through it all the time where I draw so much for so long, and I've been doing it for so long that it just, doesn't feel right anymore. What you used to love doing becomes a chore and a job, and everybody hates their job. A lot of people are like, oh no, I love my job. You might love it for a certain amount of time, but then after a certain while you start hating it, and then before you start loving it again. That's just how it is. Nobody loves your job 100% of the time, or unless you're one random person who's, oh no, I love my job. Who knows, you maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I could just keep talking about this album, but at the end of the day, it's a review, just my opinions, and I just don't really have much else to say besides that. If you're a Logic fan, you will like this album. It's not as good as Under Pressure, but it's good enough for a finale. I really enjoy this album. It makes me reminisce on Logic and what he's become and how far he's made it, and I'm really proud to say I was part of the journey with him. Every time he drops something, I usually buy some merch, and I will do so today. I'm gonna check his website right now. And it also reminds me of like when all his albums are coming out. 2014, Under Pressure, I remember I came back from a vacation, I got home, and that's the first thing I listened to. And then after that, it was the mixtapes. All of them were going on the way to work. Everybody was played with some girl that I was friends with in her car. And yeah, just reminiscing on the good old times. Mostly everything was played in the car though. Like that was just my place to listen to his music. But yeah. And for the past 4 years, he's been the main artist listed on Spotify for me. Every single year, he's #1, and it's always by far. And sort of this year, I kind of haven't really given him a chance that much because I was sort of tired of his old music. But this came out, and I will for sure be listening to this the rest of the year. Overall, I give the album a 4.5 out of 5 Kanyes. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you like the album and what you rated it. I'm out.